People oftentimes conflate checkout and cart abandonment. They view them as the same thing. They are not the same thing. Cart and checkout abandonment are actually two very distinct flows and two very distinct triggers. They're triggered based on two separate events. One event is a cart add event. So if you're using Klaviyo, the add to cart event triggers your abandoned cart flow. Your checkout started event is what triggers an abandoned checkout event. And why is it important to distinguish the two? You can have added stuff to cart and have abandoned the session and not have proceeded to checkout. You could have proceeded to checkout, not completed the checkout session, left, and you'll have two very different events and kind of proximity to the conversion event, if that makes sense. So those two pieces get missed. And oftentimes people even use the exact same creative, the exact same dynamic blocks, and we'll go into the account and we'll see that they're not working properly because you have two different events populating data that doesn't actually exist commonly between the events. So Liam, I'm not sure how often you see this, but this is one of the things that I always look for. Brands either have both flows and are using the same creative across both. They just duplicated two flows, assigned them a different trigger, and they have broken blocks inside of their flows. So they're not working across one or the other. Or brands think they're the same flow and they literally just skip having one. Yeah. So they call their cart abandonment flow the checkout abandonment one. And they actually don't have one in place for it.
I think like in probably give it like a 70% of the time, you see some mix of what you just mentioned there. I think like the most common to have in place is the checkout abandonment. I think that's something that like most people will have in place. The cart abandonment is a little bit different, but the checkout abandonment, I think most people typically will have that one in place, and then they'll either forget about the cart abandonment or, like you're saying, they'll have both running, but they're actually not necessarily achieving what they think it's achieving. So they get kind of misconstrued there. But yeah, I agree with what you said there. I think it's a very common mistake on these two pieces. And the thing is like having these two flows in place and operating correctly is a huge leverage point for customers within that kind of recovery period when they're actually like, they've shown some intent. Like these are the flows that you don't want to mess up because these are customers that have basically like, they've shown some intent here to buy your product. If you're not actually having these fire correctly, then you're just missing a very, very high leverage moment for that customer, where you have a very good chance of actually converting them because again, they've shown intent. They're there, they're ready to purchase in most cases, or almost ready to purchase. And these things help you kind of get across the line.